Good morning. I'd like to bring the June 3rd, 2020 Planning Advisory Commission meeting to order. If you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Somebody got our flag. Wow. That was unusual. What happened to our flag? Sir? Ah, gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you for your attendance this morning, and I will ask you to please silence or turn off your cell phones. Today we're operating under much different circumstances as most meetings are now being held. We have some commissioners that are watching by television or YouTube and will be forwarding questions to me via text. We will also have citizens calling in via phone with questions and or comments, so we ask those watching here and by other means to be patient with us as we move these cases forward. The phone number in which to call is 706-225-3937. and it should be scrolling on your screen for those that are watching electronically. I remind those in the audience and those watching on TV, this is the first hearing of any rezoning, text change, or special exception request brought before us today. We'll first hear a reading of the staff report for the case by the planning staff and ask the applicant to provide a brief overview of the request. We will then give the opportunity for anyone in the audience to speak for or against that request or to inquire about the said request. Commissioners will have any needed discussion on the case, and once a motion is made and seconded by the commission, a vote will take place and a recommendation will be rendered. The case will go back to the planning department for their independent recommendation. If a favorable recommendation is given, then the case is forwarded to the city council with the two independent recommendations. If the planning department makes a recommendation for denial, the applicant will have 10 days from the receipt of a letter stating the denial to notify the clerk of council that they're requesting to be placed on city council's agenda. The city council of Columbus will then hold a public meeting, which is going to be called the first reading. Said council shall consider the case, review PAC and planning department recommendations, and hear a discussion on the matter. Then the council will make a final decision at a second public meeting, which is called the second reading. Okay, first thing on our agenda this morning is minutes from May 20th, 2020. Did everyone have a chance to take a look at those? And any comments or questions or updates or changes? None noted? Okay, well, we'll consider those accepted. All right, we'll move on. We have two rezoning cases today. First case is REZN 05201679. This is a request to rezone 1.15 acres of land located at 4204, 4216, 4220 Buena Vista Road. Current zoning is NC, neighborhood commercial. Proposed zoning is GC, general commercial. The proposed use is a pawn shop. DSBV Property LLC is the applicant. This property is located in Council District 1, Mr. Barnes, and we'll hear from Mr. John Renfro from the Planning Department first on the staff report.
Yes, sir. The general land use is consistent in Planning Area E. The current land use designation is general commercial. Future is general commercial. It is compatible with the existing land uses. The property does not lie within the floodway and floodplain area. The developer will need an approved drainage plan prior to issuance of a site development permit if a permit is required. The property is served by all city services. Average annual daily trips will increase by 0 trips. If used for commercial use, the level of service will remain a level C. This site shall meet the codes and regulations of CCG for commercial usage. No school impact, no buffer requirements, no recommendation, Fort Benning recommendation, no DRI recommendation. The surrounding zoning, north, south, east, and west, is all neighborhood commercial. 45 property owners within 300 feet of the subject properties were notified of the rezoning request. The planning department received no calls and or emails regarding the rezoning. As far as additional information related to the traffic count, there is no ITE trip generation in the ITE manual for pawn shop, so we substitute it for special retail shop used as a comparable use. And that's it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Renfro. Commissioners, y'all have any questions of planning at this time? All right. All right. Who's here to represent this case? If you would come up to the podium, state your name and your address for the record, please.
My name is Rodney Milner. My home address is 115 Broken Rock Road, Hamilton, Georgia. I represent DSBV property there. If you have any questions?
Well, yes, just to kind of give us an overview of what you're planning to do.
What we're doing here is we got a title company, and they're going to take over approximately 3,000 square feet of this one building on the corner. For them to get an occupancy permit, they're under a pawn shop. They don't pawn TVs, they don't pawn any jewelry, but they do titles only. And we have to change the zoning to meet this criteria.
Okay.
And that's it.
And the other property, I think you said 3,000 square feet. We do have 2 parcels here. What's the plan there?
We're not going to do any changes to that property.
Okay. All right. All right, sir. Commissioners, do y'all have any questions of Mr. Milner? Anyone? Sir? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right.
I will ask the question if there's anyone in the audience. If they are, they're invisible. So, Commissioners, do y'all have any other further discussion or any questions, concerns, or do we have a motion? All right. Mr. Brandon.
It's like handing off the hot potato. Who wants it today? In the case of REZN-05-20-1679, location 4204, 4216, 4200 Buena Vista Road, a request to rezone 1.15 acres from neighborhood commercial to general commercial because it is consistent with general land use and the future land use designation. I move that we recommend approval.
Okay, we got a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Mr. Derby. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, it's unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Milner. All right, next case. Case number REZN 05201772. This is a request to rezone 0.32 acres of land located at 4228 Buena Vista Road. Current zoning is NC, neighborhood commercial. Proposed zoning is GC, general commercial. The proposed use is a convenience store with gas sales. Raja Shri Shah is the applicant. The property is located in Council District 4, Thompson. And we'll hear from planning first on the staff report, please.
Yes, sir. General land use is consistent in planning area E. Current land use designation is general commercial. Future land use is general commercial. It is compatible with the existing land uses. The property does not lie within the floodway and floodplain area. The developer will need an approved drainage plan prior to issuance of a site development permit if a permit is required. Property is served by all city services. Average annual daily trips will decrease by 48 trips if used for commercial use. The level of service will remain a level C. The site shall meet the codes and regulations of CCG for commercial usage. There be no school impact, no buffer requirements, no Fort Benning recommendation, no DRI recommendation. The surrounding zoning for north, south, east, and west is neighborhood commercial for all 4. 35 property owners within 300 feet of the subject properties were notified of the rezoning case. The planning department received 1 phone call regarding the rezoning, and that was in opposition. Regarding that, it is related to the Dogwood Apartments that is located on 947 Dogwood Drive. They're concerned with 24-hour service and possible increases in traffic in that location due to this zoning change. And that's it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Renfro. Commissioners, y'all have any questions of Mr. Renfro regarding this case? Nobody? All right.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Renfro, were the complaints from tenants or from the owner of the property?
I believe
It
it's
was
the
them.
owner. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Of the apartment complex?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Now, is anyone here are you here to present this case?
No, I'm here to speak in opposition.
You're here to present this case? Okay. Come on up and state your name and address for the record one more time, please, sir, although we know who you are.
My name is Rodney Milner. I live at 115 Broken Rock Road, Hamilton, Georgia. I'm representing Ms. Shaw on this particular rezoning. What we have here is to be able to put fuel on this property, we have to change the zoning from NC to GC. We plan on servicing the service station with a small truck. We're not going to service it with a large tanker because of the size of the property. That's about it. I can't think of anything else. This is only property on the south side of Universal Road that doesn't have a fuel. So that's why we're putting fuel on this side of the property, this side of Universal Road.
Do you know what the hours of operation are planning to
I
be?
think we're planning on operating, from 6 to 7, and we'll probably shut it down around 11. It'll be on the same time pattern as the BP station is half a mile west of this location. She owns that location too.
I got you. Okay.
So basically the same thing. She will not run a 24-hour-a-day operation.
All right. Commissioners, do y'all have any questions of Mr. Milner regarding this case?
Mr. Milner, one of the problems I know that we've had with gas stations before that have come through PAC is that they couldn't get the engineering approved because of tank placement and then truck turnaround and things like that. Without stepping into your business, just making you mindful of that, because that's wound up becoming a problem for folks where they can't engineer the parking and the tanks and all that.
The site plan was submitted to engineering as well as the application, and they had no response for that.
We had a drawing, you got a drawing.
Yes.
Showing the place for the tanks and to be serviced. That's already been in the planning.
All right. Anyone else have any questions of the applicant? I don't have any coming through on text, and I'm not actually playing on my phone. All right. Thank you, Mr. Milner. Now, is there anyone in the audience like to speak for or against this case? Please come forward and give us your name and address for the record, please.
My name's Travis Hargrove. My home address is 7405 Winding Ridge Road, and I'm an attorney at the Finley firm located at 200 13th Street. And I'm here on behalf of the owner of the Dogwood Apartments, which is located at 947 Dogwood Drive. And I'm here today, the owner, on behalf of the tenants, has retained me to oppose this rezoning. Our issues with this are Dogwood Drive, and I don't know if you guys received copies of what I submitted, but Dogwood Drive feeds onto Buena Vista Road. It's a 2-lane road and feeds at the stoplight. The pictures I took were off of Google Earth that showed the subject property, but as you can see at a distance, even the Google Earth picture, there's 4 cars backed up going onto Buena Vista Road. Our concern, and this is a small site for one, if you look at the size of other convenience stores nearby, yes, there's the minimum number of parking spots, but we're concerned there's going to be backups for 2 reasons. One, this is only 2 gas pumps that are proposed at this location. So you're going to have people coming lined up. This would be the only fuel station within a certain distance, 0.15 miles to the west are 0.21 miles to the east. So this is going to be a heavily trafficked location with only 2 gas pumps. And if you've ever tried to fill up with gas on a Friday, even at a place with a lot of pumps, you know it backs up, you may have to wait. This being a small area, you get backup, it's going to back up onto Dogwood Drive, cause issues for my clients' tenants, and for anyone that's living off of Dogwood Drive with backup and traffic that's not there under the current use without fuel. I'm glad to hear that they're not planning on operating 24 hours. If this does approved, I hope that's a stipulation that's put in there, but that's another concern that my client has. And let me just break down, my client owns these apartments. These are nice apartments. They've had tenants for years, tenants who have been there literally 10 years. This is not someone who's just thrown up some housing that is inadequate. And they care about their tenants, and that's why the owner went to the expense of retaining me to oppose this and to attend this hearing. And while I recognize it states that the traffic trip count, what's been presented, will not significantly increase, I'd respectfully disagree, because when you have the only station with pumps in what's about a 0.4 mile area feeding off of Dogwood, which is residential, onto a main road, you're going to get a lot of traffic, and 2 pumps on that size of land is simply not enough to service that. So we would ask that you do not approve of this and recommend denial. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
All right. Commissioners, y'all have any questions of Mr. Hargrove? Now, I have 2 commissioners that are watching by television that can't be here because of physical reasons, and so I'm waiting to kind of see if we get a question from them,
Certainly.
but I have not yet. So, anyway, any questions, gentlemen?
I got a comment. So the thing is, like, this will be a gas station on the south side of Buena Vista Road, which is no gas stations right now. So everybody pumping gas, it goes to the north side. So that creates a lot more traffic on the north side, on the medium, going to the left. So by opening a gas station on the right side, on the south side, it kind of alleviates. So hopefully there will be more gas stations on the right side later on to alleviate the traffic impact on Dogwood. And that's what I figured.
Okay. All right, Mr. Brandon?
I've got 2 questions for Mr. Renfro, if I
Okay.
may.
All right.
Are we allowed to add an hours of operation restriction?
I believe you can restrict that under a condition.
And then the other one would, considering this, would engineering go back out once it gets operational and look at the timing? I can't remember if Buena Vista Road's a state road where the state has to get involved, but would engineering go back out and look at the timing on that light when a new business like that appears at a corner?
For sure. They definitely look at that yearly when there's new businesses and new construction.
Ms. Hargrove, though, if we're able to do an hours of restriction condition, how do you think your client would feel about a midnight to 6 a.m. exclusion?
My client would feel better about that than 24 hours, but they still wouldn't feel good about the whole thing.
Sure.
The issue with the backup, you're talking about a year, not just my client, but there's literally residents who could be unable to exit their driveway as this backs up, particularly during peak times with only 2 gas pumps.
All right. All right. Any other questions, gentlemen? All right. There's no one in the audience to oppose or speak on behalf, so, and I've not received any questions online, so open the floor up for a motion regarding this case, please.
Should I try?
Sure, go right ahead.
When it comes to proposed zone REZN 05-20-1772, applicant Rajeshri Shah, location at 4228 Buena Vista Road, acreage 0.32 acres, current zoning classification, neighborhood commercial, proposed zoning, general commercial, to open up a convenience store with gas sales. I propose this motion be granted and approved,
Okay. Did you want to condition the times?
with the conditions that be noted that will be closed from midnight to 06 in the morning.
Okay, we have a motion with a condition. Do we have a second? Got a second? Any discussion? All those in favor to accept the motion with the condition, raise your right hand. And all opposed? Got 3 and 1 opposed. Got 1 yes on, and 2 yeses on the text. So, like I say, we, just for the record, Mr. Derby opposes it, so. All right. That takes care of our cases for today. And our next meeting is scheduled for June the 17th, 2020. I think I saw a few on Trello that were kind of brewing. Is that?
We
gonna
do.
be-
We have 2 scheduled for that date.
Okay, so we have 2 cases for June the 17th. I also want to make mention, too, that on the first case, the 2 that are at home also voted in positively with your proposal. So is there any other old business or new business that we need to talk about this morning? All right. All right. Thank you for your attendance and your time. We are adjourned.